What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Just got back from vacation in Mexico, and first of all, I want to say thank you guys for following along. A big thing about this trip was to show people how to eat instinctively and not actually pack and bring food with you. That was the whole goal of it. I brought nothing with me, not protein bars, no protein powders. I brought nothing diet-wise with me and only ate there. And I try to explain to people, and you know, I get backlash here and there when people are like, Jerry, you're not estimating those fucking calories correctly, and like making fun of me. I'm like, listen, you can't see in the camera. I tried to put my hand next to the plate, which still skewed the view. A normal sushi roll is about that big. These were like that big. They were super small. So even the amounts of sushi you saw on that plate were like half the size we normally get here in America. Like the sashimi was about that long, but about that thin. It was like filleted. You could see through it. Those were multiple pieces on top of each other. So every piece there was, it was like a quarter of the piece that you would normally get here. So you're actually having to eat more volume of those to get what you normally get here. And I didn't even eat the volume, so I was definitely under eating. But regardless, I came back 2 pounds lighter from vacation, came back leaner, feeling good, didn't feel deprived. Food did not run my life while I was out there. We still did everything. So it was a great time, and hopefully that they were entertaining. These videos are entertaining with Aaron and I, and they give you some context on how to do the instinctive eating, which is what I've been doing for years now. So that being said, we're going to put this aside. Something that happened while we were down there, of course, Aaron and I talk about things all the time, things in the fitness industry, things about health, fitness that are not involved in the fitness industry, just headlines that we see here and there. And she's always on the lookout for new topics. Not new topics, but things that may kind of coincide with things that I talk about. And we've talked about, I have said before, and I've been told, Jerry, you know, they just can diagnose cancer better now. And listen, there's more cancer now than there ever was. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I lived in Warren, Rhode Island. It is exactly the same there now as it was when I was a kid. You fucking have one person that's sick, within fucking 20 minutes, the whole entire fucking town knows what the fuck's going on. And by the way, if people were dying of cancer, we would see them dying of cancer because their funerals would be taking place. It wasn't happening like that. Not like it is now. And we have more studies, we've done more charity, we've given money, like we've done everything we can to research cancer, and fucking people are still dying more now than they were when I was a kid. More people are getting cancer now. Even the chemo and radiation, 3%, it was either 3 to 7% of the time. I think it's 3%, because when I was looking for the stats when my dad had cancer, 97% of the time, chemotherapy and radiation fails. It doesn't work. So you're talking about 3% success rate with more people nowadays. It really made me go, what the fuck is going on? So it's going to be one of two things, and it might be both things, environmental and food. Those two things are what is causing this. There's no doubt in my mind. And I talked about the Roundup, the Monsanto's Roundup, which a $280 million lawsuit to a guy named Dwayne Johnson, not The Rock, but another guy, was awarded. And there are class action suits. Matter of fact, there's stuff that comes on TV that says if you have ever come in contact with Roundup, with this, that, and the other thing, you're entitled to money. Contact this lawyer. They know now it causes cancer, period. But now what happens is people are like, well, only a certain amount of it causes cancer, and that's why it's okay to be in the food. I'm like, you're a fucking dumb fuck if you believe that. And I'm just going to take that and run with it and say what you're saying is true. There's not enough to be harmful in the foods. Okay, I'll buy that. Let's just, hypothetically, let's just say that is true, right? Doesn't mean I'm still wrong. Doesn't mean that this shit is not causing cancer in people, even though it's not in high enough amounts in the foods to cause it. Well, Jerry, how can that even be possible? Let me explain. So I pulled up this article from USA Today that my wife actually was the one that found it and sent it to me. It says, weed killer in your wine and beer. That's what a new US PIRG study found. A new study. This one was done, this was published February 25th, 2019. So this is new things that are coming out, okay? Not the old. Now remember what I said. I said there's more cancer, right? Now things are starting to catch up to it. The whole thing with Monsanto's Roundup came out, and there was a list of foods, and there are several lists of foods, but they're only partial lists. We still don't know everything that Roundup shit is in, but we do know in certain amounts that Roundup absolutely positively causes cancer. Now they have found it in beer and wine, okay? The products that are being used to make beer and wine, grapes, other things like hops, barley, and stuff, are being sprayed with this shit, and it's winding up in the fucking products. Now, it says, a new report by public interest advocacy group USPIRG reveals that tests of 5 wines and 15 beers, including organic ones, found traces of the controversial weed killer glyphosate in 19 out of 20 of them. Now, trace amounts. You may say, oh, Jerry's not that big. Listen, bear with me. This is all going to come full circle. They include brands like Coors Light, Miller Lite, Budweiser, Corona, Heineken, Guinness, Stella Artois, Stella Artois, and Samuel Adams. The levels of glyphosate were not necessarily dangerous, but are still concerning given the potential health risks. Still concerning. So they're not like, well, they're not going to drop dead if you have a beer, but we're still concerned that the shit's in there. Glyphosate is a pesticide herbicide known as an ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup. It's a problem with human carcinogen, according to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, branch of the World Health Organization. So the International Agency of the World says that this stuff causes fucking cancer. Only the assholes in America that work for these food places and people that are fucking being paid to tell you it's not fucking big deal, that's who's saying it's not a big deal. Anyways, okay, hang on, let's just keep going. Noting the report's acknowledgement that the levels are below EPA risk for beverages. Now, there's different amounts for beverages and food. Didn't know that, right? A spokesperson for National Trade Association and the Beer Institute responded to USA Today saying, our members work with farmers who go to great lengths to raise their crops sustainably and safely. The results of our most recent federal testing showed farmers' use of glyphosate falls well below federal limits. Okay? So what they're saying is sustainably and safely, but the shit's still in there. Now, let's see how this fucking works. This is how this works, and this is why, my theory, this is why, and I'm telling you right now, there's shit that I come out with people have made fun of me for that has come true full circle later on that I was fucking right, but it took a while to catch up. Now, beer, let's just take beer. There's a fuck ton of wine drinkers out there. All these people that think they're sophisticated because they drink wine, it doesn't make you sophisticated. It means you fucking drink wine, so don't be an asshole. So whether it's beer or wine, I started drinking at 12 years old. I had my first beers at 12 years old. Now, let's just say 12 years old, you're not regularly drinking beer. Let's say by 18, you're regularly drinking beer every weekend, right? By the time you're 21, which this is probably not accurate, but by 21, you're going out binge drinking, partying with your friends, and you may be even drinking every day. You may just have a beer after work, a beer or two every day. There are people in this world, in this country, that have had beer from 20 years old to 85 years old, okay? Every fucking day, a beer or two. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but here's the thing. Poisons in your body take time to get flushed out. They take time for your body to get that stuff out of there and fucking destroy it and just fucking completely cleanse the body. Now, it doesn't happen all at once. It's not like you drink that fucking beer, it cleanses it, and it's gone. That stuff actually builds up in your system over time. Now, even just from the beer, it may not build up specifically from beer and wine over time, but there are a lot of people ingesting a lot of this shit over a period of time just from beer and wine alone. Here's the problem that I have. If it's just a beer or wine alone, it may not ever rise to the point where it can become carcinogenic to your body. It may not trigger cancer just from the beer and wine. But this is the fucking problem. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's the same thing with the fucking sweeteners. As you're fucking drinking these beers, the oatmeal, Quaker oatmeal was one of the ones, I always fucking grew up thinking Quaker was like the most pure natural shit, had Monsanto's Roundup. And it had enough of it in there where it did concern people, and it said it fell below, not well below, but below the standards that you can ingest it. Now what happens if these motherfuckers eat their oatmeal in the morning with their beers at night? You're getting twice that dosage. You are getting to the level of this shit in your body to be carcinogenic. Now here's the other fucked up part. You go out for lunch, you go to whatever, and I don't even know what other foods in the grocery store have this shit in it. But you're ingesting foods fucking probably 3 times a day, most likely, unless you're fucking growing that shit yourself and not putting it on there. Even the organic shit has it on it. So 3 times a day you're eating food, and then the beer or wine for the 4th time of that day, you very well could be ingesting things that are triggering fucking cancer fast in your body. Now, I'm not saying this is gonna happen to everyone, but the cancer rates are on the fucking rise. Period. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't give a shit how many people think that, well, we have better ways of diagnosing. Motherfucker, back then if you weren't diagnosed, it didn't mean you didn't die of cancer. You still fucking died of cancer. You just didn't know it. You just fucking died. Which means that eventually what would happen is fucking Jerry died of cancer because fucking he wasn't diagnosed. Like eventually it would have been found out that you died of cancer. Like just because it wasn't diagnosed doesn't mean that it goes away. You still die of cancer back then. Now they diagnose and they try to keep them alive, but the cancer rates are still getting fucking smashed. People are still fucking dying, or at least getting different types of cancer faster in bigger numbers and more abundance than ever before. The fucking food supply. When we went down to Mexico, the eggs, when you open the egg, the yolk is orange. It's not yellow, it's orange. These are foods that are so clean, so healthy, that don't have any fucking chemicals in them whatsoever. They digest differently. You feel healthier. It's completely different. The chicken breasts, they don't look like a normal chicken breast. They're fucking thin as shit. Why? Because they're not plumped up to this fucking big, full of sodium and all kinds of chemicals they pump in that shit to make it's water too, to pump that fucking chicken breast up so that they can make more money. You buy it by the pound. Doesn't matter whether it's fucking water injected inside or fucking actual tissue. You're buying it by the pound. So they fucking increase their profits by injecting it with these chemicals and shit. The chemicals keep it fucking from going bad longer, as well as change the color of these fucking things like meats. Red meat is not supposed to look fucking red. It's almost like gray. When you actually fucking put it down, it's not actually fucking red and pink like that. But they put chemicals in it to fucking cause that, to make it look more appealing to people so that they buy it. So they don't think something's wrong with it. You go to another country, it's completely different. You know, people make fun of other countries, but they're not putting all kinds of chemicals in their bodies. So now you have a product, this Roundup, that is not just showing up in most of the fucking foods you're eating and you don't even know it. But it's showing up in the fucking beer and wine that you fucking think is safe, but it's not. And I'm not telling you to give up beer. I'm not telling you to give up wine. I'm not telling you to do any of that shit. I'm telling you to be aware. Stop being a fucking idiot. Stop sitting down and saying nothing matters. None of this shit is real. This is fucking real. It's in the fucking food. They have been putting this shit in the food. Well, farmers are doing this to do this. Farmers are doing this because they can't fucking keep up with some of this other fucking GMO bullshit that's going on. And they're trying to fucking not lose crops and shit. So it's all about profit. These farmers don't give a fuck if you die. These farmers don't give a fuck. All they care about is the bottom line. Look at how they treat the fucking animals. There are cow farmers that shove these fucking cows in these little stalls, keep them fucking pregnant, and leave them motherfuckers there until they fucking die. Until they fucking slaughter them and eat them. They have the shittiest. You think they give a fuck what's happening to you? They don't even give a fuck about the things that they're raising to fucking give you the milk and shit. It kills me that so many people out there will be so fucking blinded and listen to the people, the very people that are manipulating you for your money and keeping you in fucking line and keeping you sick. So you go to the doctor and pay all kinds of fucking money for insurance. Those companies are going through the roof. Fucking, they actually don't even pay out half the time when you need it. You pay tons of money to insurance and then you go to the fucking doctor. I tore my pec. I was still paying fucking like $800 for a torn pec. We pay tons of money for insurance. We have the best insurance you can get. The insurance companies are making tons of fucking money. The hospitals are making tons of money. The doctors are making tons of money. The food companies are making tons of money because they keep making stuff more palatable and they make it more fucked up so it fucks you up more. They make you addicted to the food so you can't give them up. It's fucking the most ridiculous thing and it's so fucking clear. And I can't understand why so many people would just, I guess most people just don't give a fuck. They think about, well, I taste beer. I like it. I like to get fucked up on wine. I like my oatmeal. I like this. I like that. What's the answer? I don't fucking know. But just because I don't have an answer doesn't mean this shit's not reality. Doesn't mean it's fucking not going on. If you think for a fucking single fact that there's foods out there that are not contaminated, they're far and few between. I don't know which ones they are. You can't find a complete list on the internet anywhere. The only way you're finding these lists is if people actually have these foods tested and they're coming up. The foods that are not tested, you don't know whether the Roundup's in there or not. So these people could eat, people, myself included, could be eating things that have more of this Roundup in it that would easily cause a carcinogen fucking trigger in your body to let cancer take over. And we don't even fucking know it. Even if we try to fight back, we can't find the full list. I have never seen anything about beer and wine ever. This is the first time I've seen it because they're testing this shit. They're like, oh, wait a minute. They use that on the crops for fucking beer, the hops and barley and shit? Let us test that shit. Oh, fuck, it's in there. Holy shit. Could you imagine how many people go out there on the weekends and drink fucking, 20 beers or 2 bottles of wine, 3 bottles of wine just on the weekends alone? And now how many people during the week? I know people that fucking drink a half a bottle of wine every night. Drink a bottle of wine between 2 people with dinner. Doesn't make them fucked up, but if that's what they have with their dinner, they like to do it. Or people that come home, 3 or 4 beers, have maybe 1 more before bed, drink a 6-pack a day. I'm not talking about alcoholics. I'm talking about people that just enjoy their fucking alcohol. That shit is in there. And if you don't think it is, listen, I don't know what to tell you. Like, all I can do is put the information out there, and I know many deaf ears is going to fall on, but I'm noticing a fucking awakening. There's a lot of people out there that understand this shit, and more people are looking into it. I get emails, messages every fucking day going, Jerry, here's another thing. Jerry, here's another thing. Just, these people are out there doing their own research based on what they're finding after they watch the videos. They find something else, they research more. They find something else, they research more. Then they send it to me. Just like my wife, she goes, holy fuck, did you see this? I said, no, what? I looked at it, I said, you gotta be fucking shitting me. And then it starts talking about Coors Light and this one and that one, the major fucking companies. I'm like, fuck, dude, like, how much of this shit are we ingesting? I mean, they know now it is a carcinogen. In the rest of the fucking world, they don't want you to ingest it. Only in America. That is what concerns me the most. Why is America, and we're supposed to be like, we're the fucking best country in the world, we're this. We can't figure out a way to have foods where we don't fucking load them up with chemicals. And don't give me this shit about, well, we have a lot of bigger population. China's big as motherfucker. There are more people than ever over there. Those motherfuckers are not eating Roundup. Even their food. I've had actual fucking authentic Chinese food that literally, you know, in America, it's different than from there. It's completely fucking different. It doesn't, and even Japanese food. I've had people bring me stuff back from Japan. Completely different shit. You eat a little cake from China or fucking, or Japan, it's like you didn't eat anything. It's so fucking light. It doesn't affect you at all. If you test your blood sugar, it doesn't even fucking spike your blood pressure like this shit does here. Even though the sugar's the same amount. How is it even fucking possible? So be aware, guys. High blood pressure, cancer. There is so much shit. The cancer is what pisses me off the most because cancer, I've seen it, you've seen it, we've all seen it. It is a fucking horrible, disgusting, vile death. It is a long fight for survival that ends up 97% of the time you die. You fight like a motherfucker. You live your last day sick as fuck. You feel terrible. You don't live. You're barely living. You're alive, but you're not living. And then you fucking die. And these motherfuckers are putting more and more of that shit in the food and getting away with it, going, oh, it's not high enough level. See, no problem. Not high enough levels. When you're ingesting it 4 times a day from 4 different sources, guess what? High enough levels. BioStraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStraining.com is a blog. It's the bullshit. That Roundup sucks, and we are out.